What is going on? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your grateful host, Cam Williamson. Fantastic to be with you guys. I'm going to cut right to the chase today. It's been highly requested over on the TikTok page that I talk about why is addiction and substance use, not just addiction, right? Not just addiction. People can use substances and not be addicted. So let's take addiction out of this. Why is substance use on the rise so hard during the pandemic? Well, some of that is very easy. Let's knock the easy part out of the way. When you put people in isolation, away from their communities, they get what? Depressed. When they get depressed, they turn to substances. We know that. That part's easy. We find the not so easy part to talk about and the realizations that people don't see as clearly is I have just noticed in the recovery community and stuff like that, we've had a lot of relapses in the last 2 years, myself included. I relapsed after 5 years. If you guys don't know, there's a whole video on that. I'm about 3 months back into absolutely no drinking at all, which is fantastic. I love it. It wasn't something I intended to do. It wasn't something I even really saw coming. It was something that happened one day. And it came from a bunch of unhealed trauma, a bunch of unhealed wounds, which was causing me to kind of revert back to old ways of thinking, old ways of being, old ways of acting. And some of that, right, is common. I think as we go through certain stages of life, you reach different challenges, and for my generation, I'm 29 going on 30, my generation grew up in a time, like all generations do, that was completely unique, but we had the internet, and we had so much transparency about the actual world, where our parents and their parents before them, they lived in a world that was designed for them and told this is the way things are. And there was no deviating from that in religion, in business, in politics, and it was the way it was. There was a system, and you went through that system, and you saw how high you could climb throughout. My generation, and even our parents, have seen that system is complete garbage, and that the dreams and the wishes and all this stuff that we were sold was garbage, and we've talked about that plenty on this show. And guys, that's a hard realization for a lot of people to come to. A lot of people in the pivotal years of their life, 25, 30 years old, they're looking at their lives going, marriage, 9 to 5, kids, minivan, white picket fence house. Okay, great, awesome, fantastic, but that's not the ultimate goal, right? I've always thought it was crazy that people think it's completely normal to work your whole life, raise a family, and retire at 60 so you can just sit on a back porch and drink tea. Why? Now, I'm not knocking you if that's your goal, but I'm saying, like, if you have bigger goals and you have bigger dreams that you want to fulfill, you have to chase those things, right? And here's where we're really going to get into the weeds of this. This pandemic, the coronavirus, and everything that happened from George Floyd's murder to the pandemic really kicking in, mask mandates, the vaccines, the boosters, all these things led people to feel very insecure in their own standing in the world. People don't even know how they feel about a disease or a vaccine that could save or possibly harm you, right? I'm not making my opinion on that. It's for you to decide. But when you feel so insecure to even leave your home, you're scared because you don't know what's out there, this looming thing, and then you turn to social media to try to figure some stuff out, and everything on there is so chaotic. People are portrayed as violent and angry and divisive and all this. And then you go to the grocery store because you're told that toilet paper and water and bread is on a shortage. So as quick as you can, you run down to the store to get everything you need. But while you're there, you catch a break, right? You ran down to the store real quick so the kids are at home, and you caught some silence, and you're like, damn, I haven't had a break like this in 9 months, it feels like. Just silence. Holy shit. Let me grab a bottle of wine. All right, cool. Or, let me call up the plug, get whatever, take a little break, and you're like, oh, this is what freedom feels like. Where I don't have this thing on me, whatever it is, the needs of my kids, the needs of my house, the society's pressures and bull crap that's being forced on top of me at every turn. Not my own pressing goals, not any of this, but just pure freedom. And I'll be honest with you, I've said this a lot. Drugs and alcohol work. That's the biggest problem with them, is that they work. You drink, and at least for most, you will relax a little bit. Now, for people like me, that little bit is very little, and then you become a whole toxic mess. What about things like smoking weed? It's really gained some popularity during the pandemic. Should people be smoking weed? Yeah, I mean, do what you want to do, just like smoking or just like drinking, but you got to keep it honest with yourself and figure out, like, what's the reason for it? Are you using it as a tool, or are you using it as a way to cope with loneliness, boredom, and lack of motivation? Well, then it's no longer a tool. And I know people will say the same thing for alcohol, right? Like I said, not everyone's addicted. So some of y'all can go and have a beer, or a couple beers, or a glass of wine, or whatever your drink is at the end of the night and still handle your business. But we started this to talk about why is it rising so much during this pandemic, and I think everyone's foundation was just shattered. From a lot of us just realizing that everything we've known coming up was a total lie. Guys, that's so hard, right? When you meet people who were adopted as children and they don't know about it until they're older in life, it really fucks with them. And I've observed this in a couple different scenarios of my life. It fucks with them because they already feel like they don't know who they are in the world, but then they feel like they were lied to, right? We all struggle with feeling like we don't really know who we are in this world. We're always constantly trying to figure that out. But when you try so hard, in life, and you put all of your effort into your life, obviously it's your life, and one day you go, oh, everything that I've formulated, my thoughts and who I am around, is a total lie. There's a cold feeling that comes over people, for me anyway. It feels like a barren wasteland where all I can picture is standing in a scene almost like, what was that movie with Liam Neeson where he was battling the wolves and stuff? He was like out in the middle of the wilderness and it was wolves. I forget the name of the movie, but it was dark and it was like so winter, snow covered. It was like a blue film over it, and you could just feel the chill to your bones when you watch the scene in that movie. That's what it feels like to me when you're sitting in a moment of the pursuit of my dream is not going to look the way I thought it was going to. It's going to be a lot harder than I thought. Sit with that. There's a relationship that I care dearly about that, has had its time and is now past. Sit with that. It's cold. God damn, it's cold. It literally sends chills down your back. It puts ice in your veins. It hurts on a very, very deep level. There are people we will never see again. Just sit. I got goosebumps, like literally. there are moments in life that we can never get back. Yeah. There are friendships and family members and special moments in time that will forever just be memories. And that, I think, is the biggest reason why you're seeing substances rise so much. We have so much awakening and realizations going on, and people really analyzing their lives, analyzing what they believe in, who they trust, who they believe in, and I think people are coming up empty on a lot of these answers. So I would like to end this with a little bit of motivation for you. If you came here trying to figure out, why am I stuck in this cycle of maybe just a harmless habit of you're drinking every night when you didn't used to, or maybe it has gotten a little out of hand and you're doing things that began recreationally and now they've become a necessity for you to be able to function. It all starts with deciding who you want to be. Who do you want to be tomorrow? Right? You may have decided who you are today. That's fine. Be you today. Who are you going to be tomorrow? You have to create that the same way you've created who you are today. We created it out of trying to feel safe, security, survival tactics, right? Trying to heal these old wounds gets very, very painful. And in that, you have to sometimes have a little security blanket every time during the conclusion of this episode. My dog tries to get in the house, drives me crazy. It's okay to need a safety blanket. It's okay to need help and find that in the ways that you see fit for your life. Just don't let it overtake your life. Don't let it become more important than you and what you want and who you love and the moments that make your life special. Remember, drugs and alcohol don't make your life special. The people and the connections that you have, they make your life special. I love you guys very much. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, get this dog inside. I'll talk to you guys next week. Love you.